Have you ever struggled to be happy for someone?
Yes. There have been many times in my life where throughout my years of being single, I'm making this my whole personality trait. I'm really trying not to.
It's just it's God's testimony.
Yeah, exactly. People that I knew would get into relationships, and it's like, oh, great, so happy for you.
In a high pitched tone.
Oh, that's so much. And then it'd just be like, okay, God, wow, this person got in a relationship, and I'm just over here still single. Like that's so fun. So it was a lot of dealing with and wrestling with that with the Lord in my quiet time. So just general, I mean, so many times in my time of singleness, friends would get into relationships and all that would happen, and I would create, bitterness would create and what's the word? Fester, thank you. Mm-hmm. Within my soul. And jealousy would creep up very quickly. What about you?
Yeah, I think a lot back to just my running life. I was not always the fastest runner, but from the time I was in elementary school all the way to high school, there was this one girl that we were neck to neck all the time, just like beating each other every so often. And so we ended up being on the same track and cross country team in high school. And every time she would win or just do well, and even when she got recruited and I didn't in senior year, we weren't friends to the point where like I had to go celebrate her, but definitely there was just a lot of like frustration toward this one person because I was so tired of like always coming in second. But definitely just jealousy was behind that.
Yeah, I feel like jealousy is the thing that creeps up that you're not expecting, but it comes. So that's kind of our topic for this episode. Is we're going to talk about jealousy and how you can celebrate how to celebrate someone when someone has what you want, and what that looks like. And so, if you're new listening, I'm Megan, and this is the At Last podcast. Woo. And I'm here with my co-host Isha.
What's up?
And so, if this is your first time listening, we'd love for you to go back and listen to the other episodes. We have 2 episodes out. This is our 3rd episode. And so great content. We'd love for you just to go back and listen to those. But yeah, we want to talk about how can we celebrate for someone when they have what we want, and what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that celebrating it should be an art. It's a practice that we do, whether or not you practice it often or not. But I think that we are called to celebrate others, and celebration is all over God's word in different scenarios and stories. And I like to think of my dad back at home. There was this paper that he had printed out, and it was somewhere in the kitchen, and it just said on sad days, something like this. On sad days, praise God. On happy days, praise God. When you're angry, praise God. And it was like a list of like 5 or 6 different things. And of course that has an impact on your children, that you have something that's biblical, out on your home. But I remember that very clearly, and it just reminds me, like, in every season we're to rejoice. In every season we have something to be grateful for. And that was always my dad's thing. He would always help us practice gratitude and counting our blessings. And then another person I think of that rejoiced a lot was King David, of course, from time to time, when he wasn't crying out to God, and when he wasn't mad or frustrated, he was rejoicing and he was praising God. And so I just think that it's something that we're supposed to be doing if we are called believers.
Or even with King David in the Psalms, you see that even if he's like upset or angry at God, he always goes back to rejoicing at the end. Like, even if it's like, okay, God, why am I going through this? Or you put me, whatever.
But still,
but still, you're the Most High. You're all of this. Like, he reminds himself like what the Lord is.
Yeah. And I think that, this is a struggle for some people in different seasons of life.
Yeah, there you
Again,
go.
we just talked about that, but it makes so much sense because in every opportunity that we get to celebrate someone else, I think there's just as much of an opportunity to compare what's going on in their life with ours, whether it's a positive or negative thing. Because sometimes, like we're congratulating or celebrating someone, and then we just think like, dang, they barely got this. And this would be like a, quote unquote positive way. Like, I got that like a long time ago, or like, when I was their age, I had already accomplished this. Or of course, very negatively comparing your life to theirs. Like, this is really hard. I either this person has hurt me before and I don't think they deserve this thing, or I've been working much harder and I feel like I deserve it more. That comparison, in either form is just not healthy. It's not good. I think that it puts God and his plan on the back burner, and it puts all of our flesh and selfish desires on the front end, no matter what.
Yeah, 100%. I also feel like celebration puts us in a posture to not think about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Because I was thinking about that as we were talking, because when you're celebrating, you're actively not having to think about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're having to think about someone else.
When you're genuinely celebrating.
Yeah, when you genuinely are. When it's coming from a place of deep-rooted happiness and joy, like, you're not thinking about yourself in that moment. You're like, oh my gosh, like, I saw this person, I saw how amazing they did at this thing, or an encouragement, or, man, I'm so excited they got that job. I'm so excited they got that promotion. I'm so excited they got that relationship, because I know they've been praying for that, or that baby that they've been waiting for. Like, I know that they've been waiting for that. And in those moments of celebration, you're taking the eyes off yourself, and you're literally being like, hey, like, I want to congratulate you and celebrate you in this moment, which is such a special thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know we're going to get into this, but like, jealousy can come from a place of pridefulness. And pridefulness it's constantly just creating thoughts and thinking about yourself. Thoughts that are maybe good and thoughts that are also bad, either or. It creates a level of pridefulness, even if you don't realize it. Insecurity, embarrassment, or even, like, I think of pride, and it's like, oh, those are people who think like they're so much better than everyone else.
Yeah, like they're conceited.
They're stuck up.
They think that they're all that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's talked enough about that. If we are insecure, or if we're jealous, if we wish that we looked like someone else, or we wish we had something else that someone else has, it's definitely a form of pride.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying that, and then the focus just becomes what I don't have.
100%, because you're focusing within inwardly. And so, like, if your thoughts are constantly like, man, I wish I was so much prettier, or man, I wish I had this body type, like, you may not think it's a pridefulness, because in reality you're thinking bad about yourself. But the root issue is that you're still thinking about yourself. And so because you're still thinking about yourself and those thoughts are circulating on you 24/7, it's going to create a form of pridefulness that you may not realize. And
It gets in the way.
Yeah. 100% of you celebrating someone else.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why someone may struggle to celebrate someone else. Like, for example, you may not be jealous of them or what they have, but there could be, hurt or pain there. You don't feel like they deserve your support or your celebration because maybe they weren't there for you when you were going through good things. There's just different scenarios, but I think mainly today we want to talk about that jealousy aspect, the jealousy that keeps us from truly celebrating someone else. And maybe you think, well, no, like I usually do. Like, even if I feel a certain way, I usually, reach out, or I usually, send an emoji at least, but then the feeling's still there. Like, we're not really digging into, like, why do I actually not feel that happy?
The deep-rooted issue of it.
So let's talk about it. I think the first thing that jealousy does in our lives is that it clouds our judgment. And we can't really see the fuller picture of both what God's doing in their life and what God's doing in our life if our eyes are just on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like what we're lacking or what this person did to us. And I think that there's you have Luke 15, right? Like that story of the prodigal son.
Which is such a powerful story, which also we didn't realize something from the story until we both read it right before we started this episode. I'm not going to read the whole passage, but the father had 2 sons, and he gave them their assets early, and so one of them he decides to run away and spend it all. And then one day he's eating what the pigs are eating, and he's like, man, if I went back to my dad, I could be a slave. And I could eat better than, what I'm doing right now with these pigs. So let me just go back and see what happens. And so then we get to verse 20. So he got up and went to his father, but while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I've sinned against you and heaven and your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father told his servants, quick, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then bring the fattened calf and slaughter, and let's celebrate with a feast. Because this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. Verse 25. Now his older son was in the fields, and as he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he summoned one of the servants, questioning what these things meant. Your brother is here, he told him, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Then he became angry and didn't want to go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. But he replied to his father, Look, I have been slaving many years for you, and I have never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me a goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours comes home and has devoured, but when the son of yours has come and has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him. Verse 31, Son, he said to him, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.
I love that the dad says we had to.
Yeah.
Like, we had to. It's a non-negotiable. That's a victory like this happened. Your son has returned. I mean, your brother has returned.
When we were reading this before, I thought it was so crazy because he's not thinking at all about his brother and about anything. He's really just thinking about himself. Mm-hmm. But in that, because of his jealousy that's overclouding him of like, man, Dad, I've been with you for this long and you have never done any of this. I've never gotten any kind of a celebration like this. Mm-hmm. And here I am slaving for you for this many years. It's almost, he just puts it directly on himself with this jealousy. Mm-hmm. But his dad changes his perspective. His dad's like, no, you don't understand. You've always been by my side. You were never lost.
Yes. And then I just picture like, I'm not a dad, right? Yeah. Obviously, I am a mom now. But I just picture like a parent. My parents have been through this. But a parent that has a kid that goes astray, that goes down a path that they did not teach them to go down, that they didn't intend for them to go down. And then you have your other kid or, the other sibling that has stayed the path, that has been faithful, that has continued to obey and just has followed a good path. Of course, like a lot of worry and a lot of attention goes on to the child that has gone away because the parent is worried and because the parent cares about the fruit of that person's life. But what that other good sibling doesn't notice or realize is like all the prayers of thankfulness that parent has probably prayed. Thank you for my son that has been with me, that has not left me, that has not followed in that brother's footsteps. Yeah. And I don't think that the brother saw that.
No.
It's
like we said, his jealousy clouded his perspective. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He couldn't see at all past his hurt. There was no room for celebration in his mind. Yeah, and
I want to mention too what I just picked up right now. I'm going through a class at BT with some women in leadership, and we talked about how to help people that are angry and how to minister to them. And we learned that anger is a secondary emotion. That there's always something behind the anger.
Interesting.
And it's like a list of things. It's, I was irritated. Or, I'm confused. I'm actually sad. Like, there's these other emotions that come before that, but we label it as anger because it's what happens in our reaction.
Wow.
So from that story, it ties in with jealousy. Like he said, I'm angry. He got angry, right? So his anger was his reaction of not going into the party.
Yeah.
That was the reaction.
Yeah.
But then, of course, when his father came out to plead with him, please celebrate with us, then you could see, what about me?
Mm-hmm.
The jealousy behind it. And I just thought that was really interesting, because
really
maybe we do say like, well, no, I'm not really a jealous person. Like, I can be happy for people, but I'm still angry, like with God, that I don't have this. I can celebrate other people, but I'm still angry. But I just thought that was interesting. Another really story that I want to talk about too is, of course, this is a much longer story with a lot of context, but maybe some of you will be very familiar with it, is Joseph and his brothers working out in the fields and doing what they're called to do. Joseph was highly favored by his dad, and his brothers became very jealous, and it drove them mad. And it ate at them until it literally drove them to terrible, terrible actions that they regretted, throughout their entire life, that they, their actions deeply harmed their father, their mother, there were consequences to their actions. But yeah, that's a very obvious story of jealousy.
I thought it was just Cain and Abel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cain was the one who killed, right? I'm just thinking about that right now.
Yeah. This is not a modern thing. We know that. Yeah. This is a human issue that has been around for a very long time. And that's probably why it was in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not think about, what someone else has and try to get it for yourself, because this was probably just a continual issue with the people that has distracted them from God and the blessings that he's given them. And
it comes down to like a heart posture, because even with Cain and Abel, the reason that Cain got upset was because the Lord found favor in Abel's offering. But it was from the heart of what Cain gave and what Abel gave, and the difference in that. And so it's all from a heart posture of where jealousy comes from, and it's actively not surrendering it that leads to like that anger, that jealousy.
Yeah.
Because if Joseph's brothers would have been like, okay, God, we're like real pissed at our brother right now.
Feeling, and it is kind of like our other emotions, like anger. Like, okay, well, I feel angry about this. You can choose not to sin about it, 100%. And you can surrender it and work through it, seek healing through God. There's a lot of different things I think that his brothers could have done to prevent them making a big mistake that they regretted, that had consequences. Of course, God had a plan and he made it all work out for good. But another thing I think that jealousy does to us, especially in this context, is it turns us into someone else. I remember I grew up a very jealous person, like when it came to my body image, and we weren't very rich, like we didn't have a lot of money. So I would look at what other kids had, to wear and things that they got to do. And in middle school, of course, during that time, you're growing. And so, people are maturing faster than you are, and you just may not have gotten there yet. But there was one girl that I wouldn't at the time probably have described that I was jealous of her. I really just thought like, I want to be like her. It was almost like a false, I look up to her, which is dumb because she was another middle school girl, But she had what I wanted, what I thought that I wanted. She had Toms that were kind of expensive for me. And for some reason that was in style. Nobody really wears those anymore. She had, and I'm going to be very detailed about this. She had red Toms. Okay. Oh. She also had such pretty style. Like she had really cute clothes. She was really like petite. So she had a really nice body. She had like tan skin, and of course, like I'm a little white girl. So I thought that, I wanted to be tan. Perfect hair. She was just perfect in my eyes, So what did I do? I went to Walmart and I got Bob's. They were the Tom's Temu version. of those shoes. And, I tried to dress fashionably. I tried to just change myself to be more like her, which ended up turning me into someone I wasn't. And I think that in this context, we're not really talking about, maybe we are, but when we're just thinking about what we don't have, we're turning ourselves into someone God has not called us to be by either making ourselves very, very small and talking bad about ourselves, or we're just saying essentially that Jesus and what he's done isn't good enough.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And it's also like in that moment of jealousy, you also can't think about what the other person is going through in the terms that it may be like, you don't know what was going through her. Like, she could have had a terrible home life. Yeah. Or a terrible whatever. But it's like in the midst of jealousy, you can't, it's like, it's hard to rationalize. And even in that, we only see the half picture of so many different things. Like, even going back to Luke 15, like, the brother could only see so much. And you don't see the other half of it. Like, all you see is that this person got in a great relationship, but you don't see the arguments behind closed doors. Or all you see is that,
or it could be perfect.
Or it could be, yeah,
true. But it's really, like you said earlier, about our heart. Yeah. Are we satisfied enough with Jesus?
100%.
And these things, we're not even going to take marriage into heaven. Yeah. We're not. We're going to be family. We're going to know each other. But whatever it is that we could possibly desire on this earth, it does not compare to having Jesus.
No, it doesn't.
So when we compare the life that God has given us, the things that God has given us with his thought and his perfection to someone else's life that we've only seen a portion of, it's bonkers.
Yeah, no, for real. I thought of a verse when you were talking of, I can't remember where's that, but the storing up treasures. Like, because when you store up treasures here on earth, that's where moth and and dust collects. But when you store up treasures in heaven, those are eternal. But storing up treasures in heaven is kingdom minded. It's focusing on the Lord. It's building that relationship with him. It's fostering on that. And when your mind is heaven, when your mind's on heaven, which shout out to that series you didn't any of it else, it's hard to be upset about the things like that are happening around us.
That's good.
Because it's like your mind is set on a heavenly perspective.
Yeah.
It's not set on this worldly perspective of a relationship that's going to pass away.
Yeah.
Or the job that's eventually going to go away, or the materialistic things that you want that are going to go away. Like, all that eventually is going to collect dust and die.
When you said that, it's hard not to be happy. Yeah. We should be at a place like that. There are people in our lives. There are two people I'm specifically thinking of that I know they've been waiting for something. And they are some of the most smiley people. Yeah. Of course, you could still struggle and smile, but I see the heart. I can see that their joy is found in Christ, because they will come up, both of these people separately. They don't even know each other. But because I know what they've been waiting for, it's not hard for them to celebrate others. And I can tell. Yeah. Because they are quick to celebrate and be grateful. And they are some of the most
joyful.
Literally, I have a genuine joy. Yeah. Even when I haven't received what I've been asking God for. Yeah. Even when other people are in a totally different place of life I wish I could be in, I can just read it from their spirit. I can sense their fruit, that they are full of joy because their minds are on heaven. Yeah. That this isn't our home.
Yeah. Their minds are on something else, which is so good. That's the key.
So let's be people like that. Yeah. Let's be people that find it hard not to celebrate life. Yeah. And celebrate good things that people have. Yeah. So let's get practical. Let's answer the big question. How can I celebrate someone that has what I want? One thing I'll share, and then you can share also. One, everyone's made in the image of God. Not everyone knows God, but God made them. He created them. Yeah. And so we're called to love them. Yeah. And we love by helping celebrate.
Yeah, that's good. There are two that I thought of. One was send the text. I think like when you're celebrating someone, then it's hard to be thinking about yourself. And so part of that is, okay, maybe you have this great friend and you have been single for a while and maybe they just started dating someone. And you don't want to send the text that you're happy for them. And I'm going to be a little vulnerable for here. That happened a lot to me. Like during my years of singleness, I had friends who get into relationships or get married and not married, just get in relationships. And I'd be like, okay, God, but why? Like, God, I've done so much for you. Like, I felt like the son in there. Like, God, I've been, doing all this work for you. I've been in ministry. I've been putting myself out there. I feel like I'm more spiritually ready than they are. So why am I not getting a relationship and why are they? And it was hard to send a text in that moment or have a reaction on my face or whatever in that moment of celebrating. But I always reminded myself that if I was in their shoes, like how would I want it, Because there may become a time where I'm in a relationship but they're not, and I would hate for them not to celebrate me. That would suck. And so it's like literally dying to your flesh, and celebrating them regardless. Because the crazy thing is that then when your mind is on heaven or heavenly perspective and your mind is on yourself, it's easy to do that. So then the moment when you send that text, you're going to feel so much better. Yeah. It's like, man, like, yeah, I'm so happy for them. Like it's rewiring your brain.
Yeah, because you can feel the pain, but do it anyway.
Exactly.
And it's what we're called to do. Like we will face fears, we will face pain in this life, but we're called to do something, and with the strength of God and with his wisdom, his words, he'll give you the strength to go and celebrate someone, even if you're feeling pain about it.
Yeah.
Count your blessings, be grateful. One quote I saw one time is that, and this has to do with image, but it can be related to this. Another woman's beauty is not the absence of your own. Ooh, so like good. If, somebody else has something, it doesn't mean that you don't have anything. Mm-hmm. You have something. Yeah,
for sure. Another one I was going to say is bring others in, so they can help you see the perspective you're not seeing. And this is like wise, Christian counsel friends, that would be like, hey, like, I don't think you're seeing this side of things. Mm-hmm. And when you see another perspective or it may be just someone who needs to call you out in a loving way, when you have that, it helps
for sure
the jealousy that's rooted within you. So, yeah.
It's important to have people around you.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So let's practice celebrating somebody this week, even if you're not jealous of them or even if you've had what they have. Just let's get into the practice of celebrating so that it becomes a part of our life and it's a part of what we do.
Yeah. Send the text or get coffee with that person that came on your mind as we were talking.
All right.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good episode.
It's hard. We're going to talk about some hard things, maybe much harder than this pretty soon. But, we wanted to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. Like, we're not perfect in this area either. Like, we have different pains and things that we want in life. But just remember that God and his son, Jesus, they satisfy everything. They're able to satisfy all of our needs. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is fun.
Thank y'all for listening.
I hope y'all love it. I feel loved.
Bye. We don't know how to end it. All right, see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.